Hello, Junior, and welcome to Gentleman's Caddy. So, what you're looking at here is the new Spyderco SpydieChef. Well, at least my Spyderco SpydieChef. This here particular model I had here customized by BladesWeLove. I have had many knives in the past customized by them, and they've done fantastic, incredible work, and this here is no exception. I had, obviously, as you can see, the changeover is bronze, a dirty bronze titanium anodized slabs on both sides of the titanium there. And you'll also notice the difference between the version 2 of the CQI version, or the titanium screws that I had replace the black screws. One of the reasons I had them replaced is because I particularly didn't like aesthetically the overall look of the knife. As you can see right here, here's the CQI version in stock fashion out of the box. Now I had these removed and changed out. I just didn't like the overall look. I liked the aesthetic look of the initial version, just generally because it's more of a simple design. All you have is your two titanium simple slabs here with a simple clean 3 back spacers, and the overall knife itself is very clean and classy and elegant, an overall design, a clean satin blade. To me, I didn't like the black screws. I generally like black screws on the titanium on other knives. It's more of a tactical look in my mind. I just didn't feel as though it fit the knife overall in this particular case scenario. So that's the reason why I had it customized. It's a win-win for me. Overall, I love the way it looks. I otherwise may have not have had it customized with this anodization, which really this makes this knife even better in my mind. One of the reasons why I really enjoyed the knife, I had the first version of the knife. I got rid of it for a couple of different reasons. One, the overall blade, or the lock stick here on the titanium frame lock was pretty bad on the first, at least the version, or the one I had. They improved that here on the CQI version fantastically. The overall function of the knife is, in my mind, close to near perfect. So they did an amazing job in the respect of the CQI version. Now, some of you who may be asking, what in the world is CQI? Well, Spyderco has this constant quality improvement, which is a fantastic thing, the CQI. Over time, on particular knives, they'll continually improve it. As they get feedback from their consumers and their users, they always experiment and change and will upgrade certain areas that they either get feedback on or the in-house believes that they need to change. One of the reasons I think they went with the black screws, perhaps because of the galvanic action between the titanium and perhaps the stainless. So this is their Salt knife, one of the Salt line series here. So they may have wanted to get the knife as close to salt resistant as possible. So perhaps that's one of the reasons why with the galvanic action you get into the nobility of metals. So you can have galvanic action when there's moisture content, especially salt water, between two dissimilar metals in different categories of nobility. So perhaps that's the reason. I don't understand why, perhaps any other other way in terms of why they did that. But overall, I didn't care for the look of the overall knife with the black there, the black screws. So that's what I had changed out. Really, those two things. It's a simple, classy overall design itself there. So the titanium I had bronzed, anodized, and the screws changed out to the just stock satin finished titanium. Fantastic, looks fantastic. Now the clip itself also, it comes in the original titanium color, a matted titanium. So I'm not particularly sure why they left the titanium matted and then went and coated the screws black. So there was too many competing colors in my mind. So but that's me. If I don't like the overall look of it, I'll change it, and I change it here on this guy, but I really like it. I really enjoy the knife now. One of the reasons why I really didn't like this knife, and it was so hard for me to get rid of, was because of the overall the slenderness of the knife itself. It is one of the thinnest knives, at least that I have, and perhaps that may be on the market overall. It's light, just all you have is your 2 titanium slabs on either side. Very thin overall. The handle, the overall thickness of here comes in at 3/4 of an inch. So very thin in the pocket, and it feels fantastic on an EDC basis. So very thin, very nice to carry, and one of the reasons why I enjoy it so much. The overall length, I don't believe anything changed from the first iteration to the second. What we have here is about an 8 1/8 in overall length, and the blade length about 3 1/2, slightly larger than 3 1/2 cutting edge here. So very nice indeed. I've used this here guy to cut fruit at lunch, and cut a sandwich in half, and just, you rinse it off under the sink there, and you don't have to worry about it rusting and corroding. If anything gets stuck in the pivot, you just remove the torque screws there. It's very easy disassembly there, just 2 slabs of titanium on either side. Very nice, very simple. My motto is always to keep it simple, not simplistic, and this here is an epitome of that, I believe. The steel itself, the LC200N steel, is fantastic. It replaces the H1 steel in their salt line, which it is fantastic edge retention, and also with the corrosion itself. So a vast improvement with the H1, and they are moving over to it to change there on the other salt line series that they have. So that's fantastic to see as well. So they will be upgrading the Salt series to the LC200N that you see here on the SpydieChef itself. So overall, I really love the way this here turned out. I didn't care for the black screws, but hey, it turned out for the best anyway, because I wouldn't have had this here customized the way I did. But it's nice to have it back after I got rid of it, unfortunately. I forgot now. Did I talk about one of the other reasons I got rid of it was because of this here lanyard tube, and also the blade, the lock stick here. The lanyard tube on the first iteration I had would just rattle, and I would tighten here the torque screws here on the handle to try to squish the slabs together to kind of stop the tube from rattling. Still, to no avail, the thing would rattle constantly. So no use, no rattling there. So fantastic job, Spyderco. No rattling on the lanyard tube. I've never had that issue before on any particular knife. But I guess perhaps it was mine. I did see it on someone else's as well. So they made it too short, and it just sat inside the cutout there and just rattled. So that bothered me. So those two things, from the first iteration to my iteration now that I have, the upgraded CQI version here, really in the function department, they hit a home run on this particular knife. Now I know this was a particularly popular knife even from the first go around. I think particularly due to its overall design, its slenderness in the handle here, and also the steel itself. It's very maintenance free almost. You don't have to worry about this here corroding, and it's very hard to keep selling out across the board in particular sellers. So if you really do, if you like the overall knife itself and what it has to offer, I'd pick one up. If the screws don't bother you, you can always have the screws changed out as well. You can always have custom screws put in with the black there. But here's my version, gentlemen. So let me know, did you have the first version? Do you have the second version? Do you like the knife? Do you like my knife? Let me know, gentlemen. Thank you for watching, Junior. Before you go, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and you'll be a real winner in my book. And you know what they say about winners? Winners go home and